Word for word. Asina, while sitting. Payatam, while walking. Asinam, while eating. Chanaha, while lying down. Prapilabam, while drinking. Gurabam, while talking. Na, not. Anusandati, new. Etani, all these activities. Govinda, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivened the senses. Parirambita, being embraced. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prahlad Maharaj was always absorbed in thought of Krishna. Thus, being always embraced by the Lord, he did not know how his bodily necessities, such as sitting, walking, eating, lying down, drinking, and talking, were being automatically performed. Please repeat. Prahlad Maharaj was always absorbed in thought of Krishna. Thus, being always embraced by the Lord, he did not know how his bodily necessities, such as sitting, walking, eating, lying down, drinking, and talking, were being automatically performed. Purport. A small child, while being cared for by his mother, does not know how the needs of the body for eating, sleeping, lying down, passing water, and evacuating are being fulfilled. He is simply satisfied to be in the lap of his mother. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj was exactly like a small child being cared for by Govinda. The necessary activities of his body were performed without his knowledge. As the father and mother cared for their child, Govinda cared for Prahlad Maharaj, who remained always absorbed in thought of Govinda. This is Krishna consciousness. Prahlad Maharaj is a vivid example of perfection in Krishna consciousness. Omar Yanatharandasya Jananjana Slakaya Sakshur Mitam Zena Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Danti Swapadanti Kam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivastava Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam, hangam angate giram, yat kripatam aham bande, Shri Guru Dinataranam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, liver of all fallen souls, whose mercy turns the dumb into elegant speakers, and able to claim to cross mountains, and a dog to swim across the ocean. Today we're hearing about Prahlad Maharaj. Tomorrow we'll hear about Jayananda Prabhu, who was a very wonderful devotee, and always had a very wonderful service attitude. He was worked very diligently, worked very hard, and making Rathayatra cart and serving Srila Prabhupada. So it was Prabhupada's desire that we observe his disappearance day, and he wanted his picture to be on the Rath cart, at least in America, for all the Rath Yatras. That's tomorrow. Then the day after tomorrow, 9th of this month, we'll celebrate the appearance of Lord and sing a day. Bhagavan Singha ki. So Lord, Prabhupada says in different purports in Bhagavad-Gita that we should only worship and fix our mind on the form of Radha Shama Sundar. But Chaitanya Bhagavat says, by worshiping these other incarnations, that also nourishes our bhakti. So we shouldn't think that it's not important to observe these different appearance days of different incarnations. Anyway, this verse describes the mood of Prahlad Maharaj in the next 6 verses. And the story of Prahlad Maharaj and Sringadev begins by the question was raised by Maharaj Yudhisthira. He said, the bodies of the inhabitants of Vaikuntha are completely spiritual, have nothing to do with material body, senses, or life air. Therefore, kindly explain how associates of the personality of Godhead were cursed to descend to the material world in material bodies like ordinary persons. So I'm not going to read the purport. You can read the purport yourself. It's 17130, page 37 and 38 and 39. And Narada Muni said, once upon a time, Narada Muni said, once upon a time, the wrong page. Narada Muni continued, by devotional service one cannot achieve such intense absorption of thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as one can through enmity toward Him. That is my opinion. And before that he said, therefore, by enmity or devotional service, by fear, by affection, by lusty desire, by all these, any one of them, if a conditioned soul, some or other, concentrates his mind upon the Lord, the result is the same. For the Lord, because of His blissful position, is never affected by enmity or friendship. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that this pastime, I'll read it. From this verse, one should not conclude because Krishna is unaffected by favorable prayers or unfavorable blasphemy, one should therefore blaspheme the Supreme Lord. This is not the regulated principle. Here it is said, though an enemy thinks of Krishna unfavorably, the Lord is unaffected by this anti-devotional service. Anyway, Prabhupada says that this pastime between Jai and Vijay was the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the arrangement of Yoga Maya. So that the apparent fall of Jai and Vijay was not an ordinary thing. And when they were falling to the material world, the 4 Kumaras who cursed them said, after 3 births, you'll come back to Vaikuntha. So this is all the plan of the Lord, that Jai and Vijay were the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, and the 4 Kumaras went there, and they were also perfected beings. and so otherwise they couldn't go to Vaikuntha. If anybody has any material desire or material contamination, can't enter Vaikuntha or go to the spiritual world. And they cursed Jai and Vijay because Jai and Vijay stopped them from entering the last gate to the spiritual world. But this was all arrangement of the Lord. The story of it was Brigamuni. He was sent by some sages to determine who should be worshipped first. Lord Brahma, who should be worshipped as supreme? Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, or Lord Shiva. So he went to Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and they were agitated by his activities. But he went to Lord Vishnu, and he went up to him and he kicked him in the chest. And it says in Chaitanya Bhagavat that he would not ordinarily do that because that's an offense, Vaishnava Aparad. But he was empowered to do that, and it was the arrangement of the Lord that he do that to prove that Lord Vishnu can't be disturbed in any condition. And Lord Vishnu said to Brigamuni, I'm sorry, I didn't receive you properly, and my chest is very hard. I hope you didn't hurt your foot. So in this way, he could understand that this was the Lord Vishnu was the person to be worshipped, and that his activities were not normal. He wouldn't have done that on his own initiative, but he did that because he was empowered to do that. In the same way, the four Kamaras cursed Jai and Vijay, but they were not subject to curse. In the spiritual world, everyone has Satchidananda body. There's no time factors, there's no Maya there, there's no coming and going, there's no birth and death. So no one can be curse anyone in the spiritual world, no one can be subject to curse in the spiritual world. But because the Lord wanted it, this is the plan of the Lord. In the 49th chapter of Srimad Krishna book, it says that no one can understand the plan of the Lord. It's inconceivable. So this was the plan of the Lord, that Jai and Vijay come to the material world, take 3 birds as demons, so as the Lord wanted to fight with someone. And he can't fight with an ordinary person, he has to fight with his devotee. So first it was Aranyaksha and Aranyakashipu, and then it was Ravana, Kumbhakarna, then it was Shishupal and Dandavakra. So they were, although they came as demons, they were envious of Krishna, performed all kinds of atrocities and things that were very bad. They didn't have to go to Yamaraj. They didn't suffer sinful reaction. It was just the arrangement of the Lord. It was their pastime. And after their 3rd birth, they returned to Vaikuntha to be the doorkeepers of Jai and Vijay, doorkeepers in Vaikuntha. So we shouldn't be confused about this pastime. This is what it says. This is what it says by Narada Muni. What Maharaj Yudhisthira is asking, how this is possible. So we can read these verses and purports by Srila Prabhupada to get so we understand clearly about this pastime. And so that's all I want to say about it, is that the fallen Jai and Vijay is a arrangement of the Lord, is a pastime, arranged by Yoga Maya. It has nothing to do with Maya, has nothing to do with the material world. And that's why it's in Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's why we're celebrating the appearance of the Lord in Sringadev, because he came to save his devotee and to kill the demon Aranyakashipu. Of course, he didn't have to come to kill a demon. He can kill demons with his external energy by a hurricane or tidal wave or cyclone. So many different ways. So many people can be killed very easily. Even Aranyakashipu, although he had so many benedictions not to be killed in so many ways, Lord came and killed him anyhow, and that didn't break any of the benedictions that were given by Lord Brahma. But at the end of the story, the Lord told Lord Brahma that don't give such benedictions again. So, but of course, anyway, we'll hear about Lord Nrsingadev on the Nrsingatratradasi, and we fasting till dusk when the Lord appeared, and there'll be Abhishek, and then there'll be Prasadam. So, here it says that Prahlad Maharaj attained perfection in Krishna consciousness. So the question may be raised, how a small child who's only 5 years old could attain perfection in Krishna consciousness? And Prahlad Maharaj was sent to school by his father to learn about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and politics and different things. But he wasn't interested in hearing those things. And Prahlad Maharaj wasn't interested in playing like other children. So he was on the stage of Baba. So his father called him and asked him what he learned from his teachers. And he spoke about devotional service. Te vidu sarakatim hi Vishnu. And Hiranyakashipu became very angry and told him to go back to, send him back to the school and chastise his teachers. Why are you teaching this boy about devotional service? Don't you know Lord Vishnu is my enemy? He killed my brother, and I'm going to kill him and drink his blood. So the teacher said, well, we didn't teach him anything about devotional service. So anyway, then Prahlad Maharaj went back to school. And when the teachers went for tiffin hour, this is the custom in India, that people go to the office, they bring a little box, a little tiffin, a few roti, and a little sabji. So the teachers went for tiffin hour. Rajatanya would preach, Prahlad Maharaj would preach to his playmates about devotional service. So they were wondering, how is it? We're all in the same school, and how is it that you know about all these things? We never heard about any of these things. So in the next two chapters, we'll describe what Prahlad Maharaj learned, how he learned it, and how he became a great devotee. Actually, when Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb of his mother, Hiranyakashipu went off to perform austerities. And at that time, the demigods took advantage of the situation to defeat the demons and take over the heavenly planet. So when Indra arrested the mother of Prahlad Maharaj and thought that this lady is pregnant from the seed of Hiranyakashipu, there must be another demon in her womb. But Narada Muni came there and said, no, there's no demon in her womb, there's a great devotee. So release this lady. So they circumambulated her and went back to their abode. And Narada Muni took Prahlad Maharaj's mother to his ashram. And she did not want to give birth to the child until Hiranyakashipu came back from her austerities. Somehow the demigods can do such things. Like Sukadeva Goswami didn't want to come out of the womb. He stayed in the womb of his mother for 12 years. So somehow or other, Prahlad Maharaj, Rishi Gauranitai, Krishna Balaram Radha Shyam Sundar Ki Jai. So somehow or other, Prahlad Maharaj stayed in the womb of his mother. Now for an ordinary child to stay in the womb is a suffering condition, being packed up we hear from Lord Kapila Dev about the movement of living entities. But while he was in the womb of his mother, Narada Muni instructed his mother. And he heard those instructions and became a pure devotee. But his mother, she was worried about his womb, about the child in the womb, and she also heard those instructions. But those instructions did not stay with her. She forgot those instructions. But Prahlad Maharaj, he didn't forget. So he was instructed in the womb, and when he came out of the womb, he was also always a pure devotee, always Krishna conscious. So he had some skriti, from past life skriti, or mercy of Narada. He got the mercy of Narada Muni, but his mother didn't get that mercy. She forgot the instructions. So Prahlad Maharaj was, even though he was only 5 years old, he was not interested in play. He was always absorbed in thought of Govinda. In the same way, Srila Prabhupada would have many interviews with different reporters. So one time, one reporter said to Srila Prabhupada, "When did you realize God?" And Prabhupada avoided the question. First he said, you can be God conscious too. Then the reporter asked the question again. "When did you first realize God, Swamiji?" And Prabhupada also avoided the answer. Then for the third time, the reporter said, "Swamiji, I must be swimming in ignorance, but I want to know, when was the first time you realized God?" And then Prabhupada said, "Oh, when I was 4 or 5 years old." And all the devotees went, "Haribo." So Srila Prabhupada was given Radha Krishna deeds to worship as a child, and he also requested his father to buy a Rath cart, and he had Rath Yatra. And the neighbors were complaining to his father, "You're having Rath Yatra and you didn't invite us." And the father replied, "Well, this is just child play." But Prabhupada continued that and introduced Rath Yatra, which goes on now all over the world. So from the time he was a child, so through his whole life, he was Krishna conscious. So this is one example. Another example, Uddhava. When Uddhava was called by his mother to take breakfast, he wasn't interested. He wasn't hungry. And we know small children are very active and they always want to eat so many times in a day and do so many things. Because Uddhava was always remembering Krishna, he wasn't interested in taking his meal. Also, Dhruva Maharaj, he left home at 5 years old, went to the forest, and got the darshan of Lord Vishnu. So, it's possible for a 5-year-old boy to become Krishna conscious, because the soul is eternal, Satchidananda, and the nature of the soul is to be Krishna conscious. The soul is not bound by any material consideration. It's just that when we come in the material world, the soul, we become covered over by the modes of material nature. Conditioned soul are covered. It says that in the Bhagavad-Gita that there's 2 types of living entities. Those in the material world are fallible, and those in the spiritual world are infallible. So the soul is eternal. The soul is not temporary. They say that it's okay to perform abortion because there's nothing there. There's only a lump of matter in the womb. So we're not killing anything. They're not responsible for anything. It's like they're removing a tumor from someone's body. But tumor, if they remove a tumor from someone's body, it doesn't cry. So how is it that if you don't perform abortion, there will be a living entity who will cry and come out of the womb? So something is dead and matter. How can something that is dead matter become alive at one point? So actually abortion should be stopped, should be banished, but the people don't know how sinful it is. And people who perform abortion, they do not see the light of day for as many abortions as they perform. They have to take birth and be aborted and over again. So this, Krishna Prema is there in the heart of all living entities. It just has to be awakened. And this can be awakened by the association of a pure devotee, sadhu sangha. And also in Gaur Lila, Narottam Das Thakur, he was 12 years old. He went to take bath in one river. And Lord Chaitanya had gone to that river and told that river that anyone who takes bath in this river, you should exhibit ecstatic symptoms. You should give prema bhakti. So Narottam Das Thakur, from his very childhood, was also a Nityasiddha devotee. When he took bath in the river felt ecstatic symptoms, and Lord Chaitanya actually entered his heart, and his body complexion changed. He was dark complected at that time, but when Lord Chaitanya entered his heart, he turned golden, like Lord Chaitanya. So his mother and father, they came to search for their child. They saw Narottam. They said, "Who are you? We don't recognize. Who are you?" He said, I'm your son. I'm your child." He said, "You don't look like our child. How is it you've changed?" So from the very childhood, Narottam Das Thakur was a great Vaishnava devotee. And Lord Nityananda, in his childhood, he played with all his friends for 1 month. They didn't go home, they didn't eat anything, they didn't drink anything, they didn't sleep. And the parents didn't say anything, and they didn't lose any weight, they didn't get thin, nothing happened. So this is the miracle. Of course, Lord Nityananda is not different than Lord Chaitanya, is expansion of Lord Chaitanya. But this example of children, how children could become Krishna conscious so early age. And also Srinivasacharya, he was also a great devotee from his childhood and always exhibiting ecstatic symptoms. So in this way, many great Vaishnavas from their very birth somehow became great Vaishnavas and preached Krishna consciousness all over the world. So Prahlad Maharaj was always absorbed in thought of Krishna. And this is the stage of bhava. When you're performing sadhana bhakti begins with vaidhi bhakti, following the rules and regulations. That's required for neophyte, Kanistha bhaktas, that we follow the regulations, that we come to Mangala Artik, attend all the programs, chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regular principles. And then the second part, sadhana bhakti, is divided into 2 parts, vaidhi bhakti and raganuga bhakti. So in the nectar of devotion, it's described. Examples of spontaneous devotional service can need to be seen in Krishna's direct associates in Vrindavan. The spontaneous dealings of the residents in Vrindavan in relation to Krishna are called raganuga. These beings do not have to learn anything about devotional service. They're always perfect in all regulated principles and have achieved the spontaneous loving service of the Lord. For example, the Kaur boys who are playing with Krishna do not have to learn by austerity or penance or yoga practice, how to play with him. They've passed all tests of regulated principles in their previous lives. And as a result, they're now elevated to the position of direct association with Krishna as his dear friend. Their spontaneous attitude is called Raganuga Bhakti. Rupa Goswami describes Raganuga Bhakti as spontaneous attraction for something while completely absorbed in thought of it, as intense desire of love. Devotional service executed with such feelings of spontaneous love is called Raganuga Bhakti. Devotional service under the heading of Raganuga can further be divided into two categories. It's called sensual attraction, and the other is called relationship. In this connection, there's a statement by Narada Muni to Yudhishthira Maharaj in the first canto, verse 30, Srimad Bhagavatam. My dear king, there are many devotees who first become attracted to the Supreme Personality Godhead for purposes of sense gratification, from being envious of him, out of fear of him, or desiring to associate affection with him. Ultimately, these attractions become free from all material contamination, and gradually the worship develops spiritual love and achieves the ultimate goal of life, desire of a pure devotee. The gopis may be considered to be an example of spontaneous love and sensual attraction. The gopis are young girls, and Krishna is a young boy. Superficially, it seems that the gopis are attracted to Krishna on grounds of sex. Similarly, King Kamsa was attracted to Krishna because of fear. Kamsa was always fearful of Krishna, because it has been foretold that his sister's son, Krishna, would kill him. Shishupal was also envious of Krishna, and the descendants of the King Yadu, due to their family relationship with Krishna, were always thinking of him as one of their members. All these different kinds of devotees have a spontaneous attraction for Krishna in different categories, and they achieve the same desired goal of life. Of course, Prabhupada goes on to say that those who are inimical to Krishna don't get the same results as those who are favorable to Krishna. Those who are inimical to Krishna, although they're thinking of Krishna conscious, Krishna all the time, like Kamsa and Shishupal were always thinking of Krishna, but that was not devotional service. That was unfavorable. It said that devotional service has to be haitaki apatiyata, unmotivated, uninterrupted, and devotional service has to be free from karma and gyan. Anyabilasita sunyam jnana karma namatam anukalena Krishna bhakti uttamam. This is pure devotional service. So they do get liberated. The demons Krishna kills, they get liberated, but they go to the Brahma Jyoti generally. And sometimes they get Sarupa Mukti, they get a bodily form of Lord Vishnu. So it's not the same thing. To be Krishna conscious unfavorably and to be Krishna conscious favorably is a different thing. So Prahlad Maharaj was always Krishna conscious favorably, even as a small child. And he was on the level of Baba. So there are three stages. There's the preliminary stage, Vaidhi Bhakti, where we follow the rules and regulations so we can cleanse our heart. Unless your heart becomes soft, Krishna can't sit in your heart. If your heart is still contaminated by material desires, if your heart is still contaminated to enjoy in any way this material world, then Krishna will not sit in your heart. So we have to practice Vaidhi Bhakti, we have to be patient. Three things Rupa Goswami says. You have to be enthusiastic, you have to be patient, and you have to be confident. So we have to be patient that we're not going to become Krishna conscious very quickly. So, it's not, unless you get Kripa Siddha, like Jagai and Madai. But this Kripa Siddha is like getting a college degree without going to college. It's only given to very few people. One cannot sit at home and think, I'll get a college degree. So Kripa Siddha is given to certain personalities, but not to everyone. So the devotee has to work hard in Krishna consciousness. And when Krishna sees that you're sincere and serious, it'll help you to advance in Krishna consciousness and get free from your anarthas and material desires. So until we're free from material desires, we have to practice Vaidhi Bhakti. But when one is free from all material contamination, then you can come to Raganuga Bhakti, and that begins with Nistha, Asakti, Ruchi, and then Bhava and Prema. So Bhava is the next door neighbor to Prema. And here in Nectar Devotion, it gives the description of Bhava. Particular types of ecstatic loving sentiments that develop within the heart of a particular devotee is considered to be Vibhava. And the resultant manifestation, such as moving of the eyebrows, fear, astonishment, smiling, have been explained herein, and it's called Anubhava. Different causes for developing Anubhava and Vibhava are called steady ecstasy or Sanchari Bhava. Whenever there is a recitation of poetry or dramatic plays on the different pastimes of Krishna, the audience develop different kinds of transcendental loving service for the Lord. They enjoy different types of Vibhava, Anubhava, and Sanchari Bhava. So Srila Prabhupada himself, when he was a child, he was performing a drama. And for 1 year, they wanted to put on the drama, but his teacher wouldn't let him. So they practiced for 1 year, till they became so expert that they brought the audience to tears. And there's some pastime of Lord Chaitanya. I think Srila Prabhupada played the part of Advaita Acharya. So this was described here, that we should hear transcendental pastimes of the Lord, but we should only hear from devotees. They have this Bhagavad Saptaha where people speak for 7 days, but that is not bona fide. It says Nityam Bhagavata Sevataya. You have to hear daily the message of Srimad Bhagavatam and hear from someone who's unmotivated. If someone's taking money to recite Bhagavatam, that's an offense to the Bhagavatam. Or if someone's reciting Bhagavatam and not taking money but expecting money, that's also an offense to the Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavatam reciter must be doing it as a service to the conditioned souls. And in this way, this message can penetrate the heart of the living entity. If the Bhagavatam reciter is not a pure devotee, is not giving the pure message, then it will not have an effect, the same effect that it had when Srila Prabhupada gave Bhagavatam class or wrote his books, has a purifying effect, and it penetrates the heart and purifies our heart. So that's why Prabhupada warned his disciple, warned the devotees, especially in Vrindavan, we should not go outside and hear from non-devotees. No matter how famous they are, no matter how dramatic they are, if they're not in a Gaudiya Vaishnava line, if they're not in our line, then we should not hear from them. Because you may get confused and not get the right conclusion, and you will not get the same benefit you'll get by hearing from a pure devotee. No one, while remaining in the material platform, should discuss these different descriptions of Bhava and Anubhava by quoting different statements of transcendental literature. Such manifestations are displayed of the transcendental pleasure potency of the Lord. One should simply try to understand that on the spiritual platform there are many varieties of reciprocal love. Such loving exchanges should never be considered to be material. In the Mahabharata, it is said, is warned, that things which are inconceivable should not be subjected to argument. Actually, the transcendental transactions of the spiritual world are inconceivable to us in our present state of life. Great liberated souls like Rupa Goswami and others have tried to give us some hints of transcendental activities in the spiritual world, but on the whole, these transactions will remain inconceivable to us at the present moment. Understanding the exchanges of transcendental loving service with Krishna is possible only when one is actually in touch with the pleasure potency of the Supreme Lord. So, Prabhupada said, if you hear about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, Govinda Lilamrita, or some esoteric pastimes, and you're feeling some agitation, some disturbance, then you should stop it. So you're not ready to hear these things. Krishna is the supreme debauchee, and he does so many things that we can't understand from the material platform. They seem material, but they're not. And Krishna's dancing with the gopis, described by Sukadeva Goswami in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he gave a brief description because all the sages assembled there at Namaskar were not all Vaishnavas. They were different categories. And so he only gave a brief description of the Rasa dance to give us some kind of idea what it was all about. But actually, it's nothing to do with the material world. The dancing of Krishna with the gopis is like the difference between iron and gold, or day and night. The gopis had no sex desire. They didn't want to enjoy sex with Krishna. They only desired to please Krishna. When Krishna told to Narada Muni, I have a headache, and the only way I can get cured of my headache, I have to get the feet dust from someone. So Narada Muni said, well, I'm not going to give you my feet dust because I'll go to hell. So then he went to the queens in Dwarka and said, will you give some feet dust? Krishna has a headache. They said, no, we can't give our feet dust. We'll go to hell. So then he went to the gopis, and the gopis said, Krishna has a headache, give your feet dust. And the gopis said, yes. You take as much as you want. And Narada Muni said, but you're going to have to go to hell. They said, we don't care. Whatever is for Krishna's pleasure, even if we have to go to hell, we don't care. So this is selfless devotional service. The gopis were selfless. Their only desire was to be in oneness with Krishna, or not Mayavadi oneness, but in his desire to please Krishna in all circumstances. So whatever they did was to please Krishna, and with no tinge of material motivation. So we should not be misled thinking that these stories or these pastimes are on the material platform, and we should understand that Jai and Vijay were not conditioned souls. They never became conditioned souls. They came to fulfill the Lord's desire to go, and after 3 births, they went back to Vaikuntha. They didn't have to go through 8,400,000 species of life. They didn't go to Yamaraj. But we'll hear more about this pastimes, Lord Nrsingadev, in a couple of days. Now I have to go for service. Hare Krishna. Any questions you can ask at a different time. Srila Prabhupada ki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Gaur Premanande.